Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Devil's Hour, a podcast for the strange and unusual, where we cover all things true crime, horror, and paranormal. I'm your host, Darius, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Angel, Judah,
what's up,
and Michael.
Hello.
And today is actually a very special episode because it's the very first episode that we're doing that's available in video format as well as audio format. So going forward, the podcast will also, not only will it be available on all your typical podcast platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcasts, but it will also be available on YouTube. So this is the very first episode we're doing that with. I know we have 10 previously released episodes, and we'll probably go back and revisit those subjects and record videos of those as well in the future and release those. This is the very first episode of us doing it as a video, and so we're excited to, get the ball rolling with that.
Today, we have the very tedious and ambitious task of ranking all 13 of the Halloween movies.
all 30.
And how do you guys feel about that? I mean,
Oh, snap.
I knew I had my work cut out for me. It's like I told you in a message that one time. I'm like, that's like a whole day I'm not getting back from my life.
A whole day.
damn, is it that bad?
That's harsh.
Like originally I said like 15 hours, but no, I looked at all the timestamps and all the movies as I was watching them. I'm like, God damn, this is way more than 15 hours. This is a lot of time.
And then, especially if some movies are like really bad, you're just like, I can't. You gotta
like Season of the Witch.
Oh, man, it started.
Right out the gate.
Right out the gate.
All right, so how this is gonna work is I'm gonna read off my official list of from the worst Halloween movies, or what I think is the worst, to all the way to the very best. And as we go along, everyone's just gonna be giving their input of where, like, if they agree with me, they disagree, what they think, where the
I disagree
movie is.
with everything. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Well, one thing I'll say is that I feel like kind of unbiased about this list because I didn't grow up with Halloween. Like, it's not nostalgic for me, if that makes sense. Like, I didn't grow up as a kid watching him, so it doesn't have the nostalgic factor. I didn't really get into this franchise until I was like a lot older, maybe like senior in high school, junior in high school.
That's crazy because this movie, Halloween, is a nostalgic movie, which is, it's like watching Home Alone on Christmas, It's when you think of Halloween, the whole thing, you think of this movie. That's the movie you watch. So that'll be an interesting list, man, to see.
Dang, I'm nervous now.
Yeah. So the reason I say that is just because, like, I feel like there's some movies on this list that in a lot of people's eyes would be a lot higher because they did grow up with it, and so they have that nostalgic factor.
Yeah.
But with me, it's like I'm seeing this and it just appears very aged and kind of like cheesy, in some
I know exactly what you're feeling there, because like I didn't get into horror movies until I was like probably after high school,
Yeah.
So I view all those classic films with a very different outlook.
Yeah.
It doesn't make the same impact as it would have if you'd seen it when you were a kid.
Wow.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's 100% true.
All right, well, I guess that's where I come in. Y'all making me feel old.
Oh, yeah,
man, 'cause I grew up with this.
Yeah.
This is nostalgic for me, and this is, man, I grew up watching horror movies all the fucking time. So to me, this is nostalgic. So I'm interested in your list and how this is gonna work. I already know we're gonna fucking
Gonna break
disagree.
out in fights.
Well, dude, I think that's dope though, because like you have, us where we didn't necessarily grow up with this franchise. Like, I grew up with other franchises like Friday the 13th and and Jeepers Creepers, stuff like that, Scream. But this specific franchise I didn't grow up with, so I feel like I'm not biased in my decision. I'm going purely off what I enjoy.
Right.
And you grew up with it, so it's cool that we have you on here. That way we can see where everything ranks.
Diversity.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty dope. But yeah, let's my opinion isn't the right opinion. It's just my opinion. So if you guys have a different opinion, that's totally cool. Please leave a comment below. Show us your ranking. Tell us what you think is the best and the worst of the Halloween franchise. We're definitely eager to hear that. But
I'm not. You can say whatever you want. I'm not listening.
He's like, I'm not. I don't care about y'all.
Yeah, Michael's
joking.
He's a little bit of a nihilist. He doesn't care. With that out of the way, let's get into it. So at the very bottom of my list, at number 13, I have Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. This one was it was like a close. It was almost like a tie between this one and Resurrection. Just to be honest with you, just to give it away. Like this one and Resurrection, I had to really think about which one was the worst because I really dislike both films for various reasons I'll get into. But I ultimately decided on this one because at least Resurrection, it's blasphemous in its own way, but it's like it's kind of like it's so stupid it's funny. Like I laugh at the dumb shit.
I'd have to agree with
you know
that.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I laugh at this like
I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean, the Rob Zombie Halloween 2, yeah, it's zombified. I mean, watching any House of a Thousand Corpses, any of his movies, yeah, cool. But him taking something like, again, this is nostalgic for me. So seeing him zombify it, and adding a lot of rape and fucking just fucking it up, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I
Was there
I mean,
rape
I
in
ranked
that
it a
one?
little different, huh?
No,
Was there rape in that one?
In the beginning
They
of the
talk
movie,
about it.
when they're the EMTs are taking Michael Myers wherever they're going. The EMTs are joking about like banging
Yeah.
the dead body.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, it's not about rape, but
I don't know
like,
how I
Right,
fucking
that's-
forgot about
that's-
that
that's
shit.
right off the
like, why
bat.
do you have to
Yeah.
put that in the movie? It kind
Yeah.
of just like ruins it.
It sets
That was
the
for
tone.
shock value.
Yeah.
They wanted to like freak you the fuck out and disgust you. That was totally what that was
It's
about.
like, what the hell am I watching? I don't think they had that in the first Rob Zombie movie. So.
Well, so like, yeah, I mean, it's like Rob Zombie. If you've seen Rob Zombie's film, you know what to expect. Kind of like that's like how he writes his dialogue and the way he writes his characters. It's very like grindhouse. This movie was like grindhouse slasher, which isn't like my thing at all.
Right.
The first one I liked a lot better. We'll see where it ranks on my list. But the second one, like I hated the visions thing. Like Michael Myers seeing visions of his mom and like this fucking horse or whatever. And of course, it's Rob Zombie's wife because she has to be in every movie he ever does. Like, whatever. Like, come on, like, all right, like he doesn't care about acting chops clearly, but like, yeah. So the vision thing was super annoying. I thought that was stupid. I didn't like the fact that Michael Myers, like a lot of the movie, he didn't even have his mask on. He was just like Hobo Myers, like you know what I mean. Like he only put the mask on when he was gonna kill people.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. Again, like the zombie dialogue in the beginning, like that was just like raunchy and like not in good taste in my opinion. Like I was like,
for sure.
like it's just not necessary.
Yeah, to me, it sets the tone for the big end. The intro of the movie sets the tone for the rest of the movie. And right off the bat, I was like, man, I already knew he was going to take what for me was badass and then just raunch it up, which is cool if you're doing that, but it's a Halloween franchise. And I don't know. I mean,
Halloween's never been known to do that.
right. That's
Exactly.
Not, it was simple, but
So y'all would agree with that at the bottom of the list?
well, for me, that actually is not on the bottom.
Yeah, it's
my
not for
personal
me
Yeah, it's not
either.
on the bottom of mine. Either. It's low,
Mine
but
was
it's low.
Halloween Resurrection.
Yeah.
I know you said you got those like either one goes away.
Yeah.
But Halloween Resurrection I'd say is my bottom just because Busta Rhymes, him defeating Michael Myers with karate that he learned from movies was just so stupid.
Yeah.
And then Laurie Strode dies in the first 10 minutes when Busta Rhymes can just beat him with karate he learned on TV. I think that was like the worst ending for that character arc for Laurie and Michael. And then so he beats him with karate and then he also like electrocutes his dig.
Oh yeah,
It's nuts,
Fucking
yeah.
forgot
That ends
about
Michael Myers. I'm just like, what the hell are we watching?
Yeah.
Yeah. I even know.
Electrocution.
I think I watched an interview where the director was like, "Yeah, this was a movie written before it was even tied to Halloween."
right.
So
right.
it's like they just
just
had
threw
to add,
Michael
yeah, they
in
just threw
there.
Michael in there. So it's just so stupid. But Halloween 2 is my next one on the bottom of the list because it's
Oh,
They're
okay.
both really
So our list is like flip flopped. So
yeah, just those two are
Your number
flip-flop.
12 is my number 13.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right. So number 13 for you is
Rob Zombie Halloween 2.
Halloween
but
2.
But then number 12 for me is Halloween Resurrection. And pretty much for the reasons he said, like just the goofiness. I didn't find it like scary. It didn't have that like creepy Carpenter feel, you know, like
Yeah.
Halloween movies tend to, or should try to aspire to have. The karate scene, like it made Michael Myers look like a bitch. Let's be honest. Like,
Yeah, it really does. And what's interesting is that you go from H2O to Resurrection in the timeline.
Yeah.
Which is like crazy because to me, H2O was the shit. I mean,
yeah,
the way
Yeah.
that Jamie Lee Curtis ends that, chopping his head off with the fucking axe, you know,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
fucking
That was a
hardcore
good-
badass. And then to Resurrection where he's electrocuted by his balls. It's just like, what
And
the
she's
fuck?
like in a mental institution, like crazy. And then she
Yeah.
like kisses Michael Myers before she dies. And I'm like, what the
Right.
heck?
yeah.
It's just so weird.
Yeah, that was very random.
Another thing that I really hated about Resurrection was the look of Michael Myers. Like a lot of these films, like for me, the look of Michael Myers, like the mask, the mannerisms, how he walks, even how he kills, like that plays a big part in like how I view the film, like if I like it a lot or not.
For sure.
Yeah.
And in Resurrection, I hated the mask. It looked like pretty much just like the H2O mask, which I didn't like either.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I hated the mask. I didn't like the look. And that also played a part in why it ranked so low for me amongst like the horrible.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and killing off Jamie Lee Curtis, which I love, man. Fuck, Jamie Lee Curtis is for me, she's badass. She's also what she makes the movie for me. Killing her off right away was whack, for sure. And the mask, I'd have to agree with you with that. And H2O and Resurrection. H2O, you could see his eyes. It just looks goofy. You might as well just throw on those googly eyes on him. It just looked ridiculous. It wasn't really scary.
I mean, I don't think seeing his eyes behind the mask is goofy. I mean,
Really?
just reminds you there's a. I don't know. I didn't think there was a problem with that at all.
Interesting.
I think
it didn't seem menacing to me.
I think it's just the way like his hair is, and they get some of them give him like face expressions.
I noticed that it seems like even within a single movie, it feels like there's like these tiny variations in the mask from one scene to the other that kind of gives it an expression. And it's like, are they doing that on?
And in some movies, there's like CGI, like a CGI mask, and then I forgot which Halloween it was where he looked like he was blonde, like it went from brown hair to blonde hair.
Oh yeah, there was a cut scene of they used like the wrong mask in one of the Halloween movies. Oh, I forget which one that was.
It was like Halloween 5 maybe. Or 4.
Yeah, it might have been 4 or 5, but they used the wrong mask. Like, there's just a lot of fuck ups in the franchise. But you know, you gotta love it. I feel like it builds.
I mean, when the story touches or switches hands so often, so many times, like there's gonna be a lot of weird differences here and there.
Yeah,
that's true
for sure. So for number 11, I have Halloween Ends.
Ooh, okay.
This might be a controversial choice because apparently there's people who actually like this film, if you could believe it or not. I absolutely hated this film.
Yeah.
I was so disappointed when I went to go see it. I was so hyped for it. Like I was like, 2022 has been such an amazing year for horror. We got X, we got Scream. Yeah, I'm not the biggest Scream fan of that one, but yeah, we got the X. We got Barbarian, which is probably my choice of best horror movie of the year.
That was rad. That was
Pearl too, right?
Pearl. Yeah, it was just like a great year for horror. I thought. Nope too.
Terrifier.
Part yeah.
2.
There you go. Yeah. So I was like stoked for this movie. I thought it was going to be great. Then I started watching reviews, non-spoiler reviews, the day before the movie.
Right.
And all the reviews I saw were negative reviews. And I was like, dang, like I'm super sad. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to like I was like rooting for it in my head. I was like, no, I'm going to go and watch it anyway, and I really hope that like it like maybe they're wrong. Maybe I'll love the movie. And I was hoping for that. And my expectations were really low actually because of the reviews. Right. And I was like, it can't be that bad. Like they're probably exaggerating. And then I go and see the movie and I'm like, oh Lord, what the fuck is going on?
Awful.
Yeah. And it was as bad as I thought. Actually, yeah, it was disappointing.
Yeah, it was disappointing. I ranked that at number 12 for me. It was that bad. It was just putting romance in it. I don't really dig romance in horror movies too much, They did that.
It doesn't feel right. It's out of place there.
It's out of place. It's pointless. Yeah. It's just, to me, it's irrelevant to the whole movie. Misses the plot. It's just like, dude, whatever. And I don't know. Wasn't a big fan of the characters either, except for Jamie Lee Curtis, of course. And the only other character that I really loved was Diana Prince. And she only comes out for like 2 seconds.
Wait, who's that?
Diana Prince. All right. So for those of you who don't know, Diana Prince is also Darcy, the mail girl, for Joe Bob Briggs' TV show on Shudder. And they do the same thing. You'll watch. It's kind of like that. She's like the Elvira, the new Elvira, where they do movie reviews and stuff. And so while you're watching a scary movie, they'll talk in between and give you cool facts and stuff. But
she's the disc jockey girl.
She
right?
comes out. She's cooking. She's like cutting something in the kitchen or something. But it's just like a quick second. Yeah.
Oh, I thought she was at the station, at the recording station. Remember where the DJ like? She's blonde, right?
Oh yes, you're right. It is.
Yeah,
it
the
is
DJ.
that. That is right. Right.
She's not the DJ, but she's like in the front.
She's in the front. Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Cool. Nice.
But yeah, that was that says a lot because to me that was the best part of the movie, and there's a whole freaking long ass movie.
Yeah, I actually have Halloween Ends at number 8 on my list. I have at number 11. I have Halloween 5: Revenge of Michael Myers. Just because they got rid of the idea that Jamie is not the killer anymore. Right. I forgot what they said. That it was just like a dream or something.
No, is that she was like
or did she
somehow
actually
linked to
Michael Myers, right?
Linked to Michael Myers through that whole like thorn magic or whatever it was.
Right. So they got rid of that idea, which I liked in the fourth one. That like she
it was an excellent twist at the end.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, like when did that even happen?
So
like you didn't see it coming
they
at
just
all.
completely like blew it off, and then she's mute now. I don't even know how that happened.
She starts talking. Oh yeah,
At
but
the
she
end,
starts
like,
off.
Yeah, she starts off mute, and then the girl that survived with her, Rachel, at the beginning, they just killed her off. In the beginning
Yeah,
of the
they
movie.
killed her off, and then you have annoying ass
What the
Tina.
heck? She survived the whole movie, and then she dies in the first like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that either. Number 5's a little higher on my list, but I mean, I can see why you'd rank it there. I just think Halloween Ends was so much worse. Like even though, granted, all these movies have a lot of like glaring issues and like problems with the story, but I think 5's more entertaining for me because at least it's like a typical Halloween film. Like you know what you're gonna get. Like, Michael's gonna go kill people.
I think I like the kills in Halloween Ends though. Even though it wasn't Michael Myers, it was Corey, which is stupid. Mm-hmm. Like it was still brutal, and I liked how that played out.
Oh man, I didn't like that guy, man. I didn't
Corey
like
was
that
annoying,
character.
but like if you picture him like oh that's Michael Myers killing them, it was cool, but obviously it wasn't Michael.
If it was Michael Myers, I might have been like, all right, yeah, cool. But because it was this guy, I was like, man, I'm not even digging this character.
But going up Halloween Ends, like it was just so bad. Like how Corey goes in the tunnel and wrestles Michael down and steals his mask. He's like, give this to me. He doesn't even explain why he needs the mask.
Right.
He just takes it from him. After Michael like goes and kills that nurse girl with one hand, he like pins her against the wall and stabs her. I'm like, you could do that, but you can't wrestle Corey and like win. Like what the heck? And then like they just made Michael weak after like coming from Halloween Kills, him getting beat up, getting hit in the head with bats and bricks, getting shot like 20 times. And then in this one, he's just like fucking weak as hell.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It's so stupid.
I agree with you. They could have, to me, I think they could have ended it with Halloween Kills, and that would have been, I would have been satisfied.
The last 20 minutes of Halloween Ends, they could have just put Halloween Kills, and they could have just ended.
That's it. I agree.
No, that's the shitty part about movies that typically come out in trilogies is that anytime they try to add to it or redo it, it feels like it has to be a trilogy. So they'll just shit out whatever they can for the last movie, you know?
Yeah.
That's exactly what that was. Halloween Ends was the shit out of Halloween Kills.
It honestly felt like it should have been renamed like Halloween, the Corey Cunningham story featuring Michael Myers. Like honestly, it felt like that, dude. Like it was like Michael Myers was in like 20 minutes of it, and he didn't even do most of the kills. It was Corey Cunningham doing most of the kills.
And then he teams up with Corey, that one kill.
Yeah, the team up. Oh,
that was so uncharacteristic. Bullshit. That was like blasphemous, dude. Like Michael Myers,
disrespectful to Michael Myers.
the Michael Myers that John Carpenter created would never team up with someone. He'd be like, "Who the fuck is this kid?" and like kill him.
This
like
kid. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know. I have a lot of issues with it for sure, but yeah, that's why it's definitely my number 11. Like it's really bad in my opinion. Also. The romance between Allison and Corey, that seemed so forced to me. Yeah, like as soon as she saw him, she was like instantly obsessed with him, and it just felt forced. Like I didn't feel the chemistry there. It didn't feel like it naturally happened. It felt like she read the lines on the script that said, "Okay, I have to like this guy, so I'm gonna like make myself like this guy for the script."
Yeah. I mean, she's an actress, so you know.
Well, yeah, but it's supposed to be like believable.
No,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like the writers should have like put something in there that helps segue us into that part of the story. Yeah.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
And so I was like, no.
The other thing I hated was Lori, like how she acts in this one. Like it's okay, I guess, but how she in 2018 or Halloween Kills, she was like paranoid. Oh, Michael Myers is coming, and she for 40 years she was just like getting ready for him to come back. But then in this one, after her daughter's dead and Michael's free, she's just like, okay, I don't care. Like,
the whole yeah.
So in 2018, you knew he was locked up, but you were still preparing for him to escape. But in this one, you know he's free. You never found him, and your daughter died by him. Like, why are you just okay with it now?
Yeah, I see what you're talking about.
I mean, it could always be, broken spirit. Like she's at a point where it's like, you know what, fuck it, it's over. Like, why fight it?
So I've actually I've seen some interviews with Jamie Lee Curtis, and she's like, just to like play devil's advocate, she says that it's like this version of Laurie is the version that like received mental health, like help for her mental health post like a traumatic experience, whereas H40, like the 2018 one, was her version of the character that didn't get any mental health because that was in 1978. Mental health wasn't a priority then. It was like looked down upon to get help from like, a shrink or psychologist,
Right.
So in her interviews, that's what she says. She's like, well, she's gotten some help and it's just supposed to show you like how like a little bit of mental health help can really go a long way in terms of you healing.
Yeah, but they didn't even show that in the movie that like she went to a therapist or anything.
That's
like,
true.
If they did that, I'd be like,
Right.
okay, I could see why she's acting like this now. But
Yeah, I don't
they
think
just
they
kind
showed
of
that.
like, okay, she's fine with it now.
Yeah, another thing, they didn't even like. It didn't even really seem like they cared that Karen was dead. Like they didn't even. Really,
Yeah, they kind of pushed her aside.
they didn't even like. Yeah,
And then Lindsay was like a main character in Halloween, or not a main character, but like she was a little girl in the 1978 Halloween, and they brought her back in this one. I thought they would like team up or something, but no, she's just a bartender that can read palms or something.
Oh, palm reading. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It was
weird.
just disappointing all
That
the way
movie was
around.
trash.
Yeah, it's just trash.
I changed my answer.
He's moved it down. I
It's
convinced him.
just trash. It really is trash.
So for number 10, I have Halloween 5: Revenge of Michael Myers. It's really simple reasons. They kill off a fan favorite, which is Rachel. Really early, like the first 20 minutes of the movie.
Right.
And Rachel was like I thought Rachel was a really cool final girl. She's a very likable character. You sympathize with her, especially in the fourth one. And then Tina sort of takes over as the protector of Jamie.
Man, annoying ass Tina. Man.
Everybody hates Tina.
Everyone hates Tina.
I don't hate Tina as much as most people do. I think she's like all right, but I do think she's pointless. Like I think she serves no purpose other than to die in the middle of the movie.
Yeah, I agree. And man, that whole movie, usually I sympathize with people being killed by Michael Myers. In this movie, I was like,
You're
man,
rooting
Michael,
for
kill
him?
everybody, man.
you're
Fuck
like,
them all.
just
kill
them.
everybody. Don't care. But yeah, so I was just anxiously waiting for Tina to die in that one.
Yeah, and then some other things that rank it kind of low for me is the fact that Jamie Lloyd, who's the film's protagonist, really supposed to be the trilogy protagonist of the Thorn trilogy at least.
Right.
She's like mute for most of the movie.
Right,
I know she
right.
gets her voice back at like towards the end, but it's like why did that need to be a thing? Like why?
Right.
It didn't really explain that too well. I feel like
Like how she was mute. She
Yeah.
just became mute for no reason.
because I know she went through a traumatic experience.
Right.
I feel like this franchise expects you to just kind of like infer things off on the side. They'll just throw shit in there and be like, they'll figure it out. Like, because I'm over here thinking like, well, if I'm not mistaken, sometimes if people experience super traumatic experiences, they can like just stop talking or. But this was more of like more of a physical thing, right? Like she couldn't speak.
I think.
Like,
It
she
was-
was
seemed like
having
it was
trouble
the-
speaking.
Yeah, it seemed like that. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it did seem like that for sure. Because she would
Right.
try to like yell and scream,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
seemed like a physical thing,
Yeah.
Right.
not a mental thing.
Yeah.
For me, number 5 had the same. It was the same issue with Halloween Ends. It could have been cool at Halloween 4, like yo, that's a dope ending. That's cool as fuck. Jamie's gonna go off and be the next whatever the fuck. And then they just bullshitted the number 5. The same thing with like Halloween Kills. It's like, oh shit, this is the end. This is dope as fuck. And then it was just bullshit. Or like how you said, they just shit it out.
Yeah.
That number 5 is the shit it out of number 4. I feel. So yeah, I agree with you. With
100%, dude. Like they undid, like you said, they undid everything they had set up in the fourth one. The Mask in Revenge of Michael Myers might be the worst of the franchise.
It's pretty bad,
For
yeah.
me, it's between that one and number 4. Like those masks are pretty bad to me. Like I don't like those masks at all.
Right,
so-
the floppy neck. And shit,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Is
it's
that
the neck. Like
Right.
his neck is so long and weird. Like I don't
Right.
know. I hate it. So yeah, it's the look of that. But like even like with all of that, like I'd still rather watch that than Halloween Ends. Like I'll still watch it over
Yeah, I
Halloween
agree.
Ends.
I agree.
That's
Halloween
true.
Ends is number
Because at the end of the
13
day,
for
you
me.
still get Michael, and he's not a bitch, and he still kills people in that movie. Like he still,
Yeah, he's still kicking.
And when I watch Halloween, I watch it for Michael Myers. I don't watch it for him to team up with some guy who's like,
That just takes his mask for no reason.
yeah, I don't know, man. But yeah, so that's my number 10 is Halloween 5, Return of was it Return? Fuck.
Revenge.
Halloween 5 is Revenge of Michael Myers.
Revenge of Michael Myers. There you
Michael.
go. All right, for number 9, I have. This is a controversial choice because I know this film can kind of be beloved by, or is kind of beloved by, a select group of fans.
I'm nervous now. What'd you put?
Well, okay. Well, I have for number 9, I have Halloween 3: Season of the Witch.
Oh, okay. I have it for my number 9 too.
Wait,
Oh,
you have it
really?
listed
Yeah.
as what? You have it listed as what again?
I have
10.
Season of the Witch.
Number
no,
nine.
I have 9.
Number
you-
9
for you,
season
it's
of Witch.
Yeah.
For me, it's
Brother
number
versus
8.
9, yeah.
Oh.
And again, we haven't seen each other's lists, so that's pretty interesting that we ranked it at the same exact spot. But yeah, I had it as number 9 because, well, first it's the first one. It's the first one that doesn't have Michael Myers in it, so it suffers greatly from
That's
that.
just stupid, right?
Yeah, it suffers greatly from that. I know they were going for the anthology thing that Carpenter originally set out to do when he made the 1978 Halloween. But I don't know. I saw the movie and I'd never seen it before. I saw it recently for this video. I didn't think it was a bad movie. It didn't leave an impression on me. Like I was just,
Right.
I have no care to see it again. I wouldn't go buy it and I wouldn't put it on ever again. Like it's not one that I care to see.
Right.
Again, it's not bad. It's just like, like I don't really care for this storyline. Like, okay,
Right.
I guess like cool Stonehenge chips that make kids die when they put on the mask. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a total different vibe. It's just a whole different movie, completely from all the fucking Halloween movies. You're getting a whole different 80s type of sci-fi, witchcraft, supernatural thing.
Yeah, it is very.
Which is cool. Like if I were to watch Season of the Witch separate,
Yeah, if it wasn't a part
not
of the
tied it
Halloween-
in, I would be like, yo, yeah, that movie's fucking crazy. It's weird. You should check it out.
Yeah, that would definitely give it a different feel.
That It would
give it a
If
different
was
feel.
Completely different. If it wasn't associated
with
Exactly.
Michael Myers Halloween.
with Myers.
That's where I think it fucking
Yeah, I think what
Sucks.
made it better because I felt like the Halloween Ends was a like anthology for like Corey or whatever. I think what made it better. I wasn't alive when it came out. I think what made it better. I'm assuming they didn't say, "Oh, Michael Myers is going to be in this movie." It's just like a Halloween season
right,
of the Witch
just a
thing.
Halloween movie.
Yeah.
right?
With Halloween Ends, they were just like pushing Michael Myers, the final fight between Laurie and them, and then you go in the movie and he's not there, like for an hour and a half. Of it.
Right.
For this one, you know, if the trailers show that it's not a part of Michael Myers, you know what you're getting into. Like, you know to expect. Michael Myers is not going to be in this. Like, we know what to expect.
Right.
So I feel like that's why it's a little higher than Halloween Ends for me.
I agree. I agree. For me, Season of the Witch is at number 8, and Halloween Ends is way number
And then you
12.
get that cool jingle.
Oh,
Yeah, that is a very catchy jingle. I will
Silver
say.
Shamrock.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I know.
Well, what I was
Cool
going to
jingles.
ask, so it's interesting. Like I said, none of us have seen each other's lists. We wanted to keep it like everyone's reaction like genuine, you know. So it's interesting that they're around the same, and we both have it at 9. You have it at 8. What
Right.
about you, Michael? What do you?
Yeah, where does it land on
His
yours?
was at the bottom.
It is at the bottom of my list.
It's number 13.
Don't get me wrong. I do still respect the film a little bit because I feel like it introduces us to it kind of gets you in the mindset, sets up your mind for the following Thorn trilogy, how it has to do with witchcraft and
Right.
the holiday of Samhain and
Right,
all that.
Halloween in general.
You know, it kind of like, but it is so far off. Like it's not even in the same universe. Like Halloween is a commercial on TV in this
for a
movie. Like
movie.
it feels like it has nothing to do with it. It gives total like random B movie horror vibes. Like
Right.
so I don't know. For me, it's so detached. It just goes all the way at the bottom. And there was just little things here and there that were cheesy. Like you want to talk about forced relationships. The main protagonist and that girl he starts like sleeping with at the motel. It's
Oh
like,
yeah, I remember that.
it just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was pretty random. Like,
Yeah.
where do you want to sleep, doctor? Is that a trick question?
You know, that's like the intro to a porn right there.
Yeah,
like,
no, it really-
to,
like,
an
he's
old
like a-
cheesy porn.
He looks like he's 55, and she looks like she's like 25. So of course he's gonna say like,
Yeah.
sleep with you, or, like-
Not to mention he also has that horrible issue with his divorced wife. You know?
Right. But that's
Yeah.
a lot of 80s B movies. They're it's almost like porn, you know? That's
Yeah,
basically
yeah.
what you're
Are they?
getting there. Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, and there's one thing.
gratuitous titties everywhere. Dude.
Titties everywhere. I mean, I have a Frankenhooker shirt, and there's like titties all over that movie.
my
But
gosh.
Yeah.
one thing I learned watching these Halloween movies is not to have sex on Halloween.
Right.
Don't babysit.
Yeah.
Don't be a mechanic, and don't have sex. Don't
be a mechanic. Yeah, don't be a camp counselor or a mechanic. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
That's yeah. I mean, I don't know why they didn't. You know, they were shutting places down. I mean, first thing I would shut down is those mechanic shops. You know, if I was a mechanic, yo, he's after my jumpsuit. Fuck this. I'm not coming into work today.
Damn. All right, you heard it here first, folks. Don't have sex on Halloween, or you will get pregnant and die.
Don't have sex, because you will get pregnant and die. Don't have sex in the missionary position. Don't have sex standing up. Just don't do it. Promise? Okay, everybody take some rubbers.
So moving on to number 8. On number 8, I have Halloween 6, Curse of Michael Myers. So this one, so like a lot of these movies, again, I didn't grow up with, so I saw them for the first time, like preparing for this video. So this one I hadn't seen ever until like a couple days ago. And like going into it, I had heard a lot of negative reviews about it. I heard like a lot of slander, like this movie's horrible, it sucks. Yeah. Paul Rudd sucks in it. And like honestly, like I saw it and like I wasn't like I can definitely see what people are talking about for sure. It definitely has like glaring issues, but I didn't hate it. Like I didn't hate it as much as I thought I would, and like I didn't think it was as bad as people hyped it up to be. Overall, I thought it was like an enjoyable movie, but again, like there are some big issues. One being that they kill off Jamie Lloyd. Well, they recast her, first of all. Right. Danielle Harris is an amazing actress. I thought she did a great job as Jamie Lloyd in the trilogy. And they kill her off. They recast her as someone else, and they kill her off.
Which is fine because they killed her off so soon. It's like, I guess you didn't need Danielle Harris after
I guess that's
all.
probably why they did it, if I'm being honest. Maybe that's why, you know? So they kill her off, and then they also, like, make some sort of like incestual thing where like Michael Myers rapes
exactly. This
Jamie.
Is
I don't know.
It's at the bottom of my list because it's the curse of the uncle rape.
Oh
for me.
I fucking forgot about that.
Of the uncle rape. Fuck that. I'm not down. I'm out, man.
Yeah, that was weird. I have this one at number 10 actually.
Yeah, a lot of people do hate this movie.
Yeah, I just I was just I can't do it. I mean,
but also like, what cut did you watch? Because apparently there's like.
There's a director's cut.
Director and producer or something like that.
Honestly, I'm not too sure.
Yeah. I heard the director's cut is, it's still a bad movie.
But do they,
makes it a little bit better.
Do they switch it out? Do they take out the uncle rape?
I think they do. And I think Jamie like survives till middle of the movie and doesn't die in the beginning. But I think she like gets shot or something.
That makes a difference. If there's no uncle rape, I might have to change my shit. But if it's the curse of the rape,
this is what people saw in theaters, so...
Yeah.
I would go based off of that.
Yeah, that's what I was going based off of.
Right.
So, like, no, I 100% agree with you. It's, like, stupid as... you know, like, why would they have that?
It's such a weird, unnecessary twist.
It's
definitely, like, the baby aspect. I thought that was weird. Also, Paul Rudd, I will agree, his performance is really weird. Like, I don't know why he does this creepy-ass voice, and creepy in a bad way. In a cringe way, not in a cool way. Like creepy in like a weird. He does his voice, and I'm like, dude, why is Paul Rudd doing that voice? It's so annoying. Like,
right.
So there's that.
I got to go back and watch this again now. I didn't think it was that weird at first.
Dude, I thought it was pretty bad.
Well, he was younger. It was his first movie, right?
It was his first. Yeah. I'll give him that.
I was telling Darius, I was like, who watched this movie and was like, okay, Paul Rudd is the next A-list actor.
Yeah.
Like now he's in Ant-Man. He's in Marvel. He's in Marvel movies. It's like, who watched this and was like, this guy has potential.
I think he did.
I would have saw that and would have been like, this guy, don't ever hire him again.
Yeah. Just to continue that, so like the plot is like really bad. I didn't like the fact that like some cult pretty much controls Michael Myers as like their own personal assassin mercenary thing. Yeah, but like, so yeah, those are huge issues for sure. But the things that I enjoyed about it was the look of Michael Myers. The mask was super cool. It was actually the best mask in the Thorn trilogy, I'd say. So out of the Thorn trilogy, this one's definitely the best, like the best look. And he was also like the most brutal in this one. Like the kills were super cool.
Kills were awesome. I'll give you
the
that.
exploding head thing.
Right.
Like him like putting his what did he like put some guy's head through I don't know what he did. It's like a spike or something. I don't know. There's like a lot of different things.
At the very beginning where that nurse got pushed into a spike.
Yeah, there's that one. Yeah,
spike. Right.
Yeah. There's a lot of spikes in this movie, I guess. Right.
And that goes back to the
that kind of became another. I've noticed he's got like certain kills he likes to do, certain things he likes to do. Of course, the knife is his favorite. But somewhere along the line, he started getting into crushing people's heads and throats.
Right, that's true. Yeah.
And I think like the spike thing was like another one that started becoming more common.
Didn't he like poke someone's eyes and like break his head in half or something?
He crushes someone's head. He stomps on him in Halloween 2018.
I just saw that.
In 2018.
Right.
Yeah.
You're talking about Curse though. Curse of Michael Myers.
Yeah. Was there a kill like that?
I think so, dude. Honestly, like. I apologize in advance. We like rewatched all of these in a short amount of time to get ready for this video. So some of them like meshed together, just because we've seen him in a short period of time.
Right. I mean, for me, I hadn't seen any of them except for the first one, so I was on a journey for sure.
That's true.
Watching all of them. And then I didn't even get to finish them, to be honest. So, I'm going to have some spoilers on my end over here.
Well, you saw most of them except for kills and ends.
Yeah.
You're not missing much, honestly, with both of them. But
ends definitely.
Ends definitely not, yeah.
Don't watch it.
Right. Well, there's definitely a theme that in all the Halloween movies, you mentioned the eye, right? Putting the nurse's eyeball into the spike, and on all these movies, they do add, they tip their hats off to older scary movies, horror movies. And that one goes back to the original zombie movie, and that was the very first eye poke scene that they add into that. So that's pretty cool. So that's one thing that I do appreciate in all the Halloween movies is that they throw in, even in Halloween Ends, in the beginning, they're watching The Thing, which was one of all their favorites movies, So so I do appreciate that. So hats off to everybody doing that, adding that, and acknowledging that. That's really fucking cool.
Yeah, I have Curse of Michael Myers at number 8 for me, and you have it at what, 10?
I had it at 10.
Oh, you have it at the bottom, 13.
Curse of the Rape.
Yeah, for me, I don't know. Maybe it should be lower for me. I don't know. I just put it there because I actually enjoyed it. I think the kills is mostly.
I mean, the kills are cool, and it still keeps that kind of like Halloween aesthetic.
Yeah, it felt like a Michael Myers.
Right. It did feel like. Yeah.
I give it that, except for
I don't know. For me, the reason I like that movie is because to me it just answered questions. Like it gives backstory to how Michael Myers even became to be who he was. Because they kind of the whole thing just starts off just assuming that, he was just a child born psychotic and had a need to kill. But then they give us this whole backstory where he was basically, they didn't say he was kidnapped. That old lady said that she was like babysitting him or something on the night that he first turned, and she was part of the cult too. So it just kind of, I don't know. I like movies that go back and try to explain everything, give you the backstory. So that's what I like about it.
I think you're like the only one that likes that.
Yeah, no, honestly.
For Michael Myers, I feel like everyone likes the fact that he doesn't have a backstory. He kind of just went crazy one night and he's just pure evil. So he sees someone, he's like, I'm going to kill him.
The mystery,
there's no backstory to that.
A lot of people that about Michael Myers.
Absolutely.
That he has no motivation to kill. He just does it.
The mystique. But there you go. But your input's valuable because it's like you bring that different perspective because you just saw these movies for the first time recently.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And you like that. So not everybody likes it, but some people do.
It just kind of brings things full circle, and I like that about that. But I also understand the appeal of there's no real reason, there's no rhyme or reason. He's just crazy. He just fucking went off the rails, which is what I thought it was from the beginning. But I wouldn't say there was never any motivation. I mean, from the beginning, it seemed like his whole reason for breaking out of Smith's Grove in the first place was to find Laurie and finish what he started. So there was always a motivation. Yeah, and then like Loomis said in one of the films was he'll also kill anyone who gets in his way. Mm-hmm. But as the newer movies start coming out, it starts to feel less like he's motivated by that and more so that he just kills just to kill. Mm-hmm. Because it's he's driven to his end goal is to kill Laurie, but then at the same time he'll just have fun along the way in the start.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, to kind of touch on that a little bit, the whole concept of going after Laurie came in Halloween 2 when they introduced the fact that they were brother and sister.
Right.
Yeah.
So they gave him a motive, but originally, 1978, they were not related at all. And that's the way John Carpenter wanted to keep it, but they forced his hand, forced him to make a sequel. He even says this in interviews, he regrets adding that story change or that fact, because it altered a lot of things. It gave him a motive, and to a lot of people it made him less scary, but some people like it. Some people like that. He has a motive.
I don't mind the whole sister thing. I would prefer he just has no motive. He just kills just to kill. Right. But I mean, if we through Halloween H2 was a really good movie, and they went off of that they're still brother and sister, and I don't mind that. I guess the little tidbit in there.
Right. It didn't bother me too much either. I agree. Could have done with or without. Either or, it was great.
One of the whole reasons why I started watching horror as an adult, because I wasn't really it didn't really attract me when I was a kid. I was just like, okay, horror movies, whatever. But you know, people would always talk about, oh, it was so scary, it scared me, or it's very gory, I almost threw up. Like, I'm like, okay, challenge accepted, motherfucker.
Exactly.
I want to see this. I want to see if I can handle it. So I started watching stuff.
And then proceeds to throw up.
Yeah. I hear any of those things, then I'm like intrigued. I want to watch it even more. I agree, 100%.
Yeah.
So moving on, for number 7, I have Halloween Kills. The reason I have this one at number 7 is because I liked I thought the kills were really good. That's the best thing about this movie, honestly. The look of Michael Myers was good. He looked really cool. The half burnt mask was dope. What else can I really say? That's pretty much it, though.
I would say the kills is really cool. Like it was. Yeah. I think it was more brutal than the 2018 one. I think that's what I liked about it. So I have that on number 6. So it's a little higher up.
Oh, yeah, it was number 6. Okay, yeah, that's my number 7.
Number 5 for me. What about you?
Oh, wow, really? Halloween Kills number 5?
Kills is the next one I have to see.
He didn't see that one.
He hasn't seen that one yet.
Yeah, that's the one I have to see.
There's some parts that were like, okay, that's stupid. So the whole hospital scene was just, for my opinion, was just stupid.
Right. Oh, yeah. Jamie
like,
Lee.
Where they killed that innocent, like crazy person, I guess.
You felt bad for the crazy person.
Yeah,
justice for the crazy person.
And then Lori, I felt like she wasn't really in the movie. She was kind of sidelined.
Yeah,
because she was just at the hospital until like towards the end. But in the end, like the kills are really good.
Yeah, Halloween Kills the kills better be fucking good, man. You know,
yeah,
and they were. I feel like there was chaos. It was gory. It was. I feel like it would have made a good ending to all of it. Like, fuck Halloween Ends. That would have been the shit. Like, go out with a bang. I feel like that's what that was. But if you're into the, like, you know, kind of like the storyline, the suspense, I feel like that's what it kind of lacked. It was just straight up kill after kill. But I mean, I don't know. Different vibes for different tribes. You know, if you're into the gory, crazy kills, then that's it. If you're into the suspense, then that may not be it for you.
That's true. And then I also really liked the opening scene, how it was like so nostalgic. It like
firefighter scene.
Yeah. No. I'm sorry. That was the opening scene, right? I'm talking about the scene, or was it? No, I'm talking about the scene where like it's like a flashback.
To the they did that really well.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
wasn't that the opening
dope.
scene, or was it the firefighter?
I think it was a firefighter.
Yeah, and then I think they went into like the flashbacks.
Gotcha.
I don't remember, but
the flashback scenes is what I really love about this movie. Like it's like the mask looks just like the 1978 mask.
Yeah.
It even has like the filter they're using on the film looks a lot like Carpenter-esque, which, you know, it looks a lot like the first one. I thought they just did a really good job. So that was dope. For me, the highlights is, you know, the flashbacks, the kills, and the look and like the look and performance of James Jude Courtney as Michael Myers. I think was really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is probably Michael's most brutal and his most like.
Yeah,
you know, the kills.
I feel like actually after watching Halloween Ends, it made me appreciate Halloween Kills more because Michael Myers is actually in this doing the killing and he's not weak.
He's actually in the
so
exactly.
Yeah, Halloween Ends is just like, okay, I appreciate this one a lot more now.
Yeah, hell yeah. And I feel it was cool because it was like the town was finally fed up. Man, fuck this guy. We're gonna take this guy out. We're not gonna allow him to do this. They were all finally decided to band up together and do that, which was kind of weird too, because in Halloween Ends, it's almost like everybody's mocking it, like, oh, the boogeyman, whatever, we don't believe.
Oh, yeah.
And then in Halloween Kills, everybody believes and everybody's after this guy. So that was a little confusing for me and kind of whack for Halloween Ends, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, good points. Yeah. I mean, it's number 7 for me for all those reasons. Like the plot I felt was lacking. I felt like there wasn't enough like how do I put it? There wasn't enough like going on to fill like a full hour and 30 or hour 45 minutes. So they just kind of put a lot of filler in, which is like the police, not the police, the hospital scene.
Right.
And like they were trying to be like do some social commentary, which I get. And I like, you know, like I get they're trying to do social commentary about like, you know, don't be a sheep kind of thing.
Right.
Just because, you know, but I don't know. It wasn't executed well. That's the bottom line. It wasn't executed well, and it hurt the film. Didn't help it too much, in my opinion. But the kills were cool. So if you're into kills, and that's mostly what you care about, then you probably really like this film.
You probably dig it. Yeah, I agree.
I'm a little bit of half and half. I like the kills, and I like plot too. So number 6 on my list is actually Halloween 4: Return of Michael Myers. and that is the film. It's the first film after the whole like season of the witch thing. So they tried they made the first two Halloweens, and then they tried doing the anthology idea, and so they made season of the witch, and it didn't do so hot. And so they're like, okay, we need to bring back Michael Myers. This was a bad idea. We're dumb. So they brought back Michael Myers. And they honestly came back with a bang. Like it did really good at the box office, and it was a pretty good movie. Like again, I hadn't seen it ever until recently, and I have more positives than negatives to say about this movie. You know, like I thought it was good. I thought it was dope how Michael had the bandages, like the gauze mask, because he was burned from the second movie. I thought that was a really cool look, and I actually wouldn't mind if he like wore that mask. A little
of his mask.
Yeah, or a little longer in the film at least, you know, or for most of the film. I think that was a really cool look, and different. The thing I like about this movie is it has like really strong Halloween and fall vibes. Like the overall feel of the movie is like very like fall, a small town fall.
Yeah,
vibes.
everyone was simping pumpkin spice lattes.
Yeah, all that stuff.
I would say, especially for not having Laurie as like the main character. They executed pretty good with Jamie now. I mean, it kind of sucks.
Jamie and Rachel.
Yeah. It was kind of stupid how they just killed Laurie off through a car accident. I was just like, okay, you're going to do that.
Right.
But they did a good job execuing Jamie to be.
Yeah, I agree. I love Jamie in this. I thought she was awesome. Yeah. She's a really cool character. And man, the ending for that movie is
that one was crazy. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite endings. That's actually ranked at number 2 for me.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Because I like that.
This was number 5 for me.
The ending was just the shit for me.
Halloween.
Yeah, I mean, this list is pretty fluid. It could go up or down, like with any rewatch, you know, or within a month or 2 months. You know, these ranking lists, I feel like are pretty fluid in general.
Yeah.
For some people, maybe some people are really set in on what their top 5 is or 6. But yeah, so like, just after one watch, I really liked it, and I thought it was good. It's definitely one of the better Halloween films. But honestly, the reason why it's a lot lower on the list for me than like where it would be for you per se is like the look of Michael Myers. I fucking hate the way he looks. He looks so stupid, dude. Yeah. He first of all, he has like shoulder pads on, like the whole movie. the stuntman or whoever played Michael in this movie, I forgot his name. He actually has shoulder pads on when he played Michael, and then the mask that he wears is horrible. Like
he just doesn't look intimidating.
Like that's one of the worst masks like in the franchise for sure. Like I hate it. It's just like I don't know why it's so hard for them to like find or just like use the same mask. Like, you know, find a good mask that looks good and just like keep using it or build a replica of it.
Well, you know a lot about these masks. I know a huge fan. You got the Michael Myers mask in the back. Why don't you tell us the backstory? How did we even get that mask to begin with?
Oh, geez. So,
the original mask?
Yeah, how John Carpenter came and because I know there's a story to it. How did we get the Michael Myers mask?
So when John Carpenter, made this movie, to be honest, I don't know the name of the guy who I was actually just watching an interview about it or a documentary about it. I don't remember the name of the guy who was in charge of it, but one of the people who was like, I don't know his name. I'll be honest. It sucks not knowing his name. But like good. John Carpenter told this guy who was on the set, who was in charge of like the look, he's like, go find like a mask for the look of the character, because in the script it's just named The Shape. They didn't really give a description of what he looks like. Right. So this guy, he goes to this like stores and he found 2 masks. One of them was like a clown mask. And he said that one looked frightening to me. And then the other one was a William Shatner mask. And so he took
this one's scarier.
Yeah, exactly. He took the William Shatner mask and they made some alterations to it. They cut the eye, they cut the eye holes to make them look different, to make them bigger because they were a lot smaller. They spray painted it white, but left a little bit of like flesh tones around the neck area to not completely white. They removed the sideburns. They redid the hair. They did some different like alterations to it. And
so he saw this mask as like a blank canvas almost, like something he can like switch it around. That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like
it's creative
AF, dude.
Yeah, hell yeah.
He saw something that no one else did, and so when he did that mask, like they were like, okay, this is the mask we're gonna use. Like,
right.
Like hands down, this is the one. Like it looked great. I mean, obviously, the mask that he developed is the one in the first film, 1978, and I mean, that's an iconic mask. Everybody tries to get a mask like
to go to see the masks evolved. I think Michael said it earlier that they all throughout the movies you've mentioned that they kind of express something differently, and I think that's an interesting point because I think that everybody was trying to one up another or give a story based off of that mask, changing it through various things, and a lot of them suck. But but
that's the thing.
But the first one was good. The first one was good, and in my opinion, I think Rob Zombie did some pretty all right. Changes.
I like the Rob Zombie mask too. Yeah, I thought that was good.
I thought what's cool is how he had two options of the William Shatner and the clown, and then as Michael Myers as a kid when he kills his sister, he's wearing a clown.
He is a
Very
clown.
good.
So I think that was just like cool.
And Jamie Lee, I mean not Jamie Lee, Jamie.
Jamie was like
picks the clown.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I thought was good in the storytelling about 4 was when she doesn't even know the backstory. She just happens to pick a clown costume.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that of her at that point. He's
very good.
Uncle. Grandfather. Her uncle. That's right. I'm sorry, I forgot we said it. Uncle rape. Sorry, I forgot. The word was right there, uncle. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a pretty. I didn't even freaking. Put
And it
that
almost
together.
feels like they did that as a foreshadowing of the twist at the end.
Right at the
that
end.
She
True. I
becomes
didn't think about that either. Yeah.
Right.
the next killer, but then she doesn't, and they totally flushed that down the toilet, which was stupid.
That was very, very good. Yeah.
Also, like Danielle Harris as Jamie Lloyd, she did such a good job. Like a little girl, like I don't know how old she was when the actress, but she did a really good job. Like her crying, like everything, like to be able to act that well at such a young age is very impressive. So I was like, honestly, that's what stuck out with me the most was like the vibes, like the fall vibes and stuff, and then also like I was just like, man, this little girl is like a really good actor. Like, it's believable that she's like scared and like, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I would put her in the Queen Screams for sure. Yeah, man. Hats off to her, man. Shout out. Queen
Screams.
Scream Queen.
It's all right. You're having a lot of drink there. It's the champagne.
It's the champagne.
Champagne.
Oh man! All right.
So that was your number 6.
That was my number 6.
Number 6.
Mine was Holland Kills number 6.
And your number.
My number 2.
That was your number 2.
That
Wow.
was my number 5. So it was a little.
Okay, close.
Yeah.
It's crazy how close our lists are.
Yeah.
That's good.
What's your number 4 though?
What's my number 4?
Yeah.
What do you mean number 5? You mean?
Or number 5? Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah,
My
you go
number
at
5.
Drum
Dun,
roll.
dun, dun, drum roll, please. This might stir the pot a little bit.
Dang.
But my number 5 is Rob Zombie's Halloween 1.
Nice.
So I have that at 7.
Really?
Yeah. It's a good movie. It's a good movie.
I really like this movie, you know, and again, like I
9.
said in the beginning of the YouTube, and I know you're probably pissed, but but no. Like I said earlier in the YouTube video, like I didn't grow up with these movies, so I feel like I'm not biased. I'm literally just going off of like how I enjoyed it, how much I enjoyed it, and what I thought. I really like this movie because I feel like John Carpenter's original 1978 approached Michael Myers from a specific point of view. It approached it from no reason, no rhyme. He was born evil, all nature, no nurture. And Rob Zombie took that and completely did a 180, and it did. No, this is all nurture, no nature. Like
that's what I loved about it too.
Yeah, environment.
You know, it gave us a new spin on the backstory.
Yeah,
that. Like you said, like because we've talked about the nature versus nurture thing numerous times, and that's what I saw in that, and somehow I kind of like that even better.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you, especially if you'd never seen these before. It's like I like this actually, like because like some people like motive, they like knowing the motive. Some people would prefer not knowing a motive, but I actually really liked Rob Zombie's approach. Again, you have the Rob Zombie dialogue. You know, it's kind of a little bit.
Very crass.
Very crass, very, you know, grindhouse-y. But I thought that Michael Myers was very imposing. The guy who plays the actor, I don't know his name, but he's like 6'9", so he's huge.
That's what I liked about it. They made him.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the Friday the 13th reboot. Like I like how they make him like big, tall, more. Like I'd be if I saw a guy in that mask, I'd be scared.
Yeah, he's more physically intimidating and imposing. Like he killed Danny Trejo, and everyone knows you can't kill him. So it's like you have Machete. Yeah, you can't kill Machete. So so I mean, he felt like really scary in that way. The mask was good. I had no qualms about the mask. A lot of people didn't like the girl who played Laurie Strode, Scout Taylor Compton. I thought she did a really good job. I thought
she did a good job in the first one.
She did a good job. Yeah, first one. Yeah, second one
was kind of out there, crazy.
But like, especially because like it's a modern take on Laurie. You're not gonna act like a girl would in the 1970s. You know, she was acting as you would in 2007 or was it 2007? Yeah, 2000s. So yeah, I thought she did a good job. I liked his approach. He didn't do because we could have just got a regurgitated, version of 1978, and I like how this was different.
It was different. I give him that. It was a
Like
storyline.
for me, it was like different, but it wasn't like because I feel like you can see the mirror image of the original and the reboot, a remake, but he adds just enough differences, just enough twist to it to where it's still interesting and fresh is what it feels like. And then of course you have the entire giving us an entire backstory thing at the beginning.
Yeah. So I have to say 7 because of that backstory thing.
You don't like the backstory?
I like Michael Myers not having a backstory, like him just being killer for no reason. But I do like how they kept it where he had like no remorse for whoever he kills. Like Danny Trejo, he took care of him for all those years when he was locked up. And he even says in the movie, he's like, I took care of you while you killing me.
I was good to you, Mikey.
Yeah, Mikey. And he just kills him. I like that side of Michael Myers.
Yeah, it's so sick.
And also I like how he made the mask his own. And I actually really like the mask.
Right. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Until 2018, I just think looks better now. But I like how he made it his own, and it actually worked really good. I think that whole backstory kind of pushed it back for me.
Absolutely. I feel like that movie is great on mute.
Motherfucker. She's like, it'd be good if it was like on FX where they block out some stuff.
Oh, because of the cursing? Or
no, I mean, I'm cool with motherfucking cursing and all that shit. It's just like, damn. It's just, I'm trying to watch Halloween. This is like, I love Rob Zombie, and I fucking love White Zombie, love his music, love everything about him, love his aesthetic. But again, like, I'm trying, I guess for me, like, so you guys approached it from like a fresh, non-biased perspective. I'm watching it from nostalgic. I grew up on this.
Yeah.
And now it's a zombified version where it's just like, if I want to watch a Rob Zombie movie, I'll prepare myself for that. But going in with this, expecting a Halloween movie, I guess that's where my bias comes in. It's just like, oh man, almost like someone just shitting on my childhood. I guess like, let's just fucking fuck this shit up and see how fucked up we can get with it, which is cool. And again, I like the mask, love the kills, love how ruthless he is. So I do appreciate some aspects for it, but as far as it being a Halloween movie, that's where I would rank it. On my lower side. It's number 9 for me, so I ranked it at number 9 for me. Okay. So it's not too far.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Wow,
it's not too.
Well, I also find it like it's one of the most rewatchable ones for me.
Yeah,
because like I genuinely enjoy this movie. Like I know a lot of people have qualms with it. I think kind of like touching on what Michael was saying, like it's new and fresh, but it also harkens back to the original because there's certain scenes that are like scene for scene from the original, especially the last half of the movie, like the sheet ghost scene, how he kills Bob, just a couple different things that the ending the ending's kind of like it, but a little different actually. But yeah, I don't know. I just really liked it. I thought I was impressed with it. I think people give him a lot of shit. They should give him a lot of shit for the second one because that was a piece of shit. But the first one I thought was really good. And also, lastly, what I'll say about the film is that I feel like it's one of the more believable Halloween films out of the whole franchise. So like when I watch Halloween, like just any Halloween movie, there's an element of like almost like fantasticalness. Like there's an element that like, this is a fake.
See that
this is like you have to suspend a lot of disbelief to believe this is happening.
Absolutely,
it's not really grounded in reality, or at least a lot of them are. There are some that are, you could say,
right.
But I feel like Rob Zombie's is like grounded in reality, not like 100%, but I feel like it feels real because, like you said, because of that origin that it tells you, he's like raised in this home. It's a toxic environment.
Right.
There's abuse, neglect. There's all this stuff. There's bullying.
And all that. Yeah, I was about to say the bullying. Yeah,
bullying. And it doesn't really feel. It feels like realistic. Like it feels like someone who's 6'9". It's rare, but they could go on a killing spree and just fuck people up. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. That's what I like about it. It feels real. Like it's realistic to me.
All right. I'll give you that.
Attacking him.
He's like, well, just take it easy, man.
All right, man. All right. It's just a movie, man.
But yeah. Any last points about that? Or no.
No, man.
You're like, nah, man. It's good. Just go. All right. Now, before I go on to number 4, I just want to say that these next. So number 1 was my number 1. I always kind of knew what number 1 was, but 2, 3, and 4 for me are the ones that change a lot. Like 2, 3, and 4 for me are almost linear. Like on any given day, 2 could be 4 and 3 could be 4 or 2. You know, like
they're interchangeable.
right.
Yeah, they're interchangeable. I like them all.
That's how I feel about my top 5, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like they're all like really good in my opinion. It just depends on my mood and what I feel like seeing. But these are all really good movies and they're all really rewatchable for me. So yeah, I'm just gonna go into my number 4. My number 4 is Halloween 2, 1981.
Oh.
This one was a tough because originally I had this at number 2. I'm not gonna lie. I love this movie. I think it's really good. And then I rewatched the whole series, and I'm like, oof. But these other ones do a little something. They add another, they have an extra layer to it that I like that gives it like a slight edge, I'd say. But I love number 2 because Michael Myers looks great. Dick Warlock did really good picking up the mantle from Nick Castle, taking on playing Michael Myers. The mask was the original mask. It just looks different because it was under Deborah Hill's bed for like 2 years. And she was a smoker, so it got all the smoke and it was under the bed. So it's like it has this extra edge. It almost looks like a different mask,
right.
But still cool in its own way. So that's what I think that adds a lore to the second film. They up the gore, they up the kills. The kills are cooler, I think.
Yeah.
I'll say this movie, if you watch this movie back to back with 1978, it literally feels like the same night. It feels like it's one big movie, and I love that.
I liked about that.
Yeah, it looks like the cinematography, and it has the benefit. This movie has the benefit of being written and directed by John Carpenter and Deborah Hill, so it has the benefit of having the original director and writer. But yeah, it has that dark vibe that the first one has, like very dark, very ominous. I know some people don't like this, but I love that it's filmed in a hospital. I think that's actually cool. That a lot of the kills happen in the hospital. Most of the movies in the hospital.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that just totally makes sense. I mean, that's just where we are in the story.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not the next day or the next year. We're still here in the same night.
Same night, exactly. And it feels that way.
Yeah.
Because some movies, if it had been any other director, it probably wouldn't feel that way. It could be very different vibes. But
I mean, they did that on Halloween Kills. It was the same night, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be the same night. Halloween
and
Kills.
they did a hospital, but they didn't execute it very well.
Exactly. Two examples of like...
Yeah. That's why I have this at number 3, because it does feel like just like a longer movie if you put it back to back. The kills definitely, especially when he kills the nurse in the tub. Where he just like boils her face.
I forgot about
you can
that.
see her skin like just peeling off her face. I thought that
was cool.
Amazing. It's just a really good movie. So I have that at number 3 for me.
I feel like I really should have been taking closer, tighter notes because I'm going through these and I'm like, some of these I have just one paragraph from like the beginning of the movie and then I stopped taking notes and and then some of these like I didn't take any notes at all. So I'm like, the notes I did write down are from like a day or two later where I'm like trying to remember what the hell happened. But no, I say that mainly because I'm like, fuck, I'm forgetting all of these like really rowdy kills that happen. Because like you said, everything's just meshing together and everything's just like one big blur to me at this point. Trying to watch 11 films so far. I should have wrote down like all the different kills that happen.
Well, it's a good thing there's 4 of us, That's what I like about it. There's different perspectives.
And then in this one, they introduced the fact that Laurie is Michael's sister.
Right.
So, I mean, some people don't like that. Some people do. I don't mind it, so it didn't really knock
For some reason, I vaguely recall like getting the impression that they were related in the first one. I could be wrong.
You're wrong.
Well, yeah, they definitely don't hint at it.
They don't hint at it at all.
Anything,
No,
I don't know why I remember that. I don't know.
Maybe because it's just a known fact. It's been known for years because of the movies. They're so old.
Yeah.
I mean, but you only saw the first one.
Yeah, I had only seen the first one, so I don't know why I have that. Again, everything's meshing together. Then, like,
yeah, but like you hear people talk. You don't need to see a movie to know.
Honestly, I didn't know that they were related.
But I know a lot of that happens in it.
You still haven't seen The
No,
Exorcist?
I've seen it now, but I hadn't seen it for a long time, and I knew like a lot about it.
Right.
And then I finally saw it, and I was like, oh, okay, overrated, but okay.
Well, only because of the era that it came out in. I feel like at the time and for its time, it was horrifying.
Yeah.
But now it feels. One, it's an extremely slow moving film.
It is very slow. That's why I don't like it.
And then the special effects. I don't know. I feel like they still kind of hold up a little bit, but it's not anything like you would see today.
Yeah, for sure.
But,
I was just joking. I mean, I do think it's overrated, but I don't think it's a bad film. I'm sure for its time it was terrifying to people, but I just like you said, my biggest issue with it is it's very slow. I was like, dude,
we need more action.
We need
these
something
days.
going on, which is actually what I wanted to touch on with this film. So, like, just a few of the things that could be neutrals or negatives about it, depending how you look at it. One, like Laurie's kind of like she's in her hospital bed like most of the film. We don't really get a lot of action for her, and it's not like she's sustained like crazy, like rowdy injuries. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she was like grazed by a knife. She wasn't really stabbed.
Yeah.
I know she hurt her foot, so I understand that. But I know a lot of people's issue is that she's like sidelined for like most of the movie.
Right.
I don't really mind that because we get really cool kills.
Right.
So I don't mind that too much. But I just wanted to bring that up. But another thing is that like I actually rewatched this one today earlier. I realized like okay, this one is actually kind of slow paced too. It's kind of like there was certain moments where I was like, okay, this is a little boring. I feel like they should have either shortened the film a little bit or put in more kills or, do something to like make it warranted. Because there was periods of time where I'm like, okay, like
exactly.
there needs to be more action going.
I agree. Yeah. That's why I put it, for me, it's at number 6.
Okay, interesting.
For that reason.
Yeah,
it was just
it's a little slow moving.
It was a little slow. It was just like, yo, I'm ready to, we saw part 1, we know what's going on. And like you guys said, that it feels like the same night. So then I was expecting it to get, even
just like start up.
Yeah, start up even harder. Right? We're gonna go even harder now because we know that everything's set up already. Everything's cool. We know what's going on, and now number 2 is just really gonna go for it. And then it did the opposite. It totally just took a back seat and just like wrote it out for as long as they could. It just seemed dragged and just So it's a number 6 for me on that.
Which I don't think is too bad because sorry if I cut you off, but I was just gonna say because for me, 1 and 2 is 6 and 7. And the reason I feel perfectly fine with that is because I feel like that sets up the entire. I mean, obviously they're the first 2, but my thought process is it sets up the entire story, and so everything coming afterwards can either get better or worse. So like putting it in the middle, it makes sense to me. So
Right.
I agree with you on where you're placing it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very nice. Oh, where he's placing it?
Yeah, where
I
he's
put it at
placing
number
it.
6.
All right, cool. Screw you. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. I
mean, you like what you like. I'm not
true.
knocking you for putting it up higher.
No, it's a terrible choice, man.
It used to, like I said, it used to be a lot higher. I really liked this film mostly because it was just like I mean, it is a classic for me.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
It,
for
I
sure.
just like really, it's a nostalgic feeling. Like even though like I said, I didn't grow up with this movie. I started getting into him in high school, but like I like kind of. I don't know, like watching it, it was like, man, like this feels like really old. I mean, I know it was 80s, but like, it's cool.
1970.
Well,
Oh, what was it?
78.
The second one-
The
second
first
one was 81.
78 and then 81, right?
81.
Yeah.
So I thought it was dope. But yeah, okay, 4, 6,
I had 3.
3.
Yeah, I liked it.
And then where'd you have it?
Then you get
Oh,
that funny kill.
I
where
put 2 at
they
7.
just run over that kid that has a Michael Myers mask.
Oh, yeah.
For no reason.
Yeah.
They thought it was Michael, so they hit him.
Oh, yeah,
It's
yeah,
like-
yeah.
I made
'Cause-
note of that.
Who was it? Was it Ben?
Ben Tramer. Every
Yeah.
time that scene comes, I laugh, dude. It's fucking funny.
They're just like, okay, we killed him.
They just
Let's
like
go.
kill this
And
kid.
then that's it.
Yeah.
He combusts and just starts like he's on fire, and they don't even care. Like you don't bat an
They
eye.
just
They're
move
just
on.
like,
But
okay.
it's like I get they're trying to create this mystery, make the audience wonder, is it Michael? Is it not? But at the same time, it's like, why wasn't he screaming? Like, why was he just silent as he was burning up? Like,
Yeah,
I know
that's
he just
true.
got smashed with a car, but I don't think he's unconscious. I'm pretty sure he's feeling this right now. Like,
So
and
if it was
he's
Ben
just,
Tramer, why is
it's
he
like
yelling?
he's just standing there, like, fuck. Okay, this is happening right now. Okay.
This is happening.
I guess this is how it ends. Fuck.
Time to just let it happen.
All right. So getting back to the list here, for my number 3, I have Halloween 2018. And what can be said about this movie? I mean, I feel like when there was a lot of hype around this movie when it first came out. I remember specifically leaving the theaters feeling a little bit disappointed. Not gonna lie. Like I
Really?
left. Yeah, like I guess I had hyped it up so much in my mind, like the way that the trailers looked, the way how cool he looked. I left feeling a little disappointed. I was like, I don't know, like how I feel about it. I felt like a little mixed. Like I liked it, but then there's a lot of stuff I didn't like. Well, as time's gone on and I've rewatched it a couple times, like I like it more now than I did when I first saw it.
Yeah.
For instance, like the mask is great. I think it's really one of the better masks in the franchise for sure. It looks
Absolutely,
dope. Right?
absolutely. I agree. That's my favorite. One of my favorite masks,
Really?
actually. Yeah, for
Nice.
sure.
Yeah. And then James Jude Courtney, which is the stuntman that plays Michael Myers in this movie. I think he does a great job. with the mannerisms and the movements that Nick Castle created with the shape. The kills in this one are great. I like how he stomps on this guy's head.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's
I wrote
the
that
best
down.
part,
That was like
for
the
sure.
rowdiest kill out of the entire franchise to me.
Say
Like,
something. Say
And then towards the
something.
end, when he
Bam.
opens the cop car and the flashlight's in the cop's head,
Oh yeah, and
that was
yeah.
pretty
Oh,
cool. I
yeah.
thought that was
Yeah.
awesome.
It's like creative. He's more creative now.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of memorable moments for sure in that one. I
Yeah.
agree.
I
And
mean,
they
it's been
kept
40
the
years.
aesthetic.
He's had time to think of a few things.
right?
Yeah, that's true. Which is funny because I used to always think that like Michael Myers was like one of the most boring serial killers, like in the sense of like
Dang.
killing. Like he'd always kill the same way, in my opinion, like choking or like stabbing. But
Right.
I thought as Jason was more creative because Jason would use anything to kill you.
Oh man, yeah, Jason was,
Jason's
that was
like-
extremely creative, and at the same time, you had Jason, then you had Freddy Krueger, which were they're all battling, and I would say the same. Yeah,
right.
that
Like,
it
Myers
was-
felt kind of boring, but this movie kind of like
it amped it up for
it
sure.
was like, hey, let's bring this guy to another level.
right. I agree with you.
Yeah,
on
this is
that.
the one where he finally killed somebody with like a hammer, right? When he was going
Oh,
on
the
that little
kitchen.
rampage door to door.
Yeah,
Yes.
in the kitchen, he just
Right.
picks up
Yeah,
the hammers.
because I was about to say, like, when you look at the franchise as a whole, or as much of a whole as I can talk about, I feel like he kills in a number of different ways. Like, he has his favorites that he does a lot, but there's a lot of little things here and there that change,
Yeah. Like what?
Yeah,
Trying to
like,
think of-
what
I
are...
guess there's
Because, you mentioned, it's like obviously his favorites is knives, but he also likes to crush either their head or their throat so they suffocate. He'll do bludgeoning with blunt objects like baseball bats or hammers or different things like that. Shove you into anytime there's a spike available. He's like, oh yeah, we're gonna capitalize on that.
Right.
To me, so when you say he didn't have a lot of ways of killing, I don't know. To me, he had several different ways.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, maybe I'm over like looking some of the kills. Then one thing that I will say is that I like how this movie had a lot of callbacks. Paid homage to a lot of the old Halloween movies, like Halloween 3 with the masks. I don't know. It just paid like a lot of.
The ghost scene where they kill the babysitter.
the ghost.
Oh,
scene.
that's right, the ghost thing. That's true. I like how when the kid's running, he like runs into Michael.
Oh yeah,
And that's
I
like
remember
directly
that.
from the first and the second one, like the original
Yeah.
first two.
I think the only thing I didn't like about it is how like Laurie is just like so paranoid. Like after 40 years, like if I got attacked by someone, I would get like a little bit paranoid. But not for 40 years. I'd be like, okay, he's not gonna come back.
Like eventually,
Like there's
yeah.
no way that 40 years later
40
he's gonna break
years.
out.
That's true.
But no, she like made like a whole trap in her house. Has like an arsenal in her
she just waited.
Her house
40
was a trap the
basement.
whole damn thing.
Yeah. So I don't think I'd go that extreme if I was attacked 40 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the way that I can't say that it's Jamie Lee Curtis's fault because she was just like saying what the script says and acting
Yeah.
how like the director tells her. I've probably the writers and directors, like I feel like there's this version of Laurie. I like H2O's version of Laurie.
I agree.
So much better.
I do
Yeah.
too.
And I'll get more into
That's
that.
the happy medium.
Yeah,
right
and
there.
I'll get more into that as I discuss that film. But I'll just say for now that the way that this Laurie, H40 Laurie, approaches like her trauma and like it's over the top, like you said.
Yeah.
Some of the language she uses and words she says is very cringe. I found myself when I watched it, I was like that doesn't even feel like a real person would say that. Like, why are you like what? Like, I don't know. I felt that way. Overall, it's a really good film though. Really just the negatives, what I would say is the Laurie thing, or being over the top. I'm not my favorite version of her. Also, I feel like some of the humor was a little misplaced. Overall, I think they did a good job with the humor, but some of the humor was misplaced. Specifically, like in the scene where Vicky, the babysitter, Michael's hiding in the closet and the little boy's in the bed, and Michael comes out and he's like he's gonna attack. So that's when like the tension's building.
Yeah.
And then you have the little kid like saying, "Oh shit!" Like
Yeah.
I don't know. He said like some sort of like wise.
Yeah, he just said,
Right.
"Oh shit," and then ran out. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, I get that that's not a huge deal, but for me, it kind of killed the moment of like
Yeah.
taking it seriously. Like I didn't take it as seriously. Like
Right. It's definitely it's just corny. It's just, and
Yeah,
I
it's
love
real
corny, but not purposeful corny. It's like, oh, you're trying to be cute. You're trying to insert this, like you said, very.
yeah,
This
yeah.
they put
I just
it
think
the
they
wrong
should have
spot.
moved it somewhere else. So,
Right. I
yeah.
agree.
Or if it
completely.
was, I feel like if it was like another teenager that said that, I think the fact that it was a kid, it was a little funny because it's like he's a little kid cussing. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, that could be-
If
Yeah.
like Dave was like up there and he saw, he was like, "Oh shit!"
Right. It's
Like,
always
I feel
It's
like
how
that'd
you
be fine.
say it. Yeah,
Yeah.
who says it and how you say
Because
it.
he was making jokes like, "I'm clipping my nasty ass toenails."
That kid was hilarious.
Like,
I
that
like
part
that
was
kid.
funny.
hilarious. I love that kid.
But-
I like the kid a
he was
lot.
But
funny.
I think
funny.
because he was making those jokes and then he said, "Oh shit!" Like it was like a joking manner that it came across as. You know what I mean?
Right, I
Yeah.
agree. I just agree with Darius that it's just simply misplaced. It's
Yeah.
cool, love the scene, love when kids cuss, just like in Wedding Singer when the little kid goes, "Linda, you a bitch." You know, it's
He has
like
the
the
Freddy
best.
Krueger
That's
mask.
funny.
You remember the Freddy Krueger
The
mask?
Freddy Krueger mask. Yeah.
He's like, that's not nice. Very creative though.
it's cool. It's just simply misplaced for me.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. But yeah, overall, really good film. Definitely one of the best Halloween sequels, like by far. Like it's probably one of the most rewatchable.
Yeah, I agree.
It's beautifully shot, great cinematography. So yeah,
Yeah.
really, really good job on that one. All right,
And I liked how they also that doctor that replaces Loomis. It was interesting how he was a very different type of doctor because like Loomis was obsessed in terms of like trying to understand him to help him, but then eventually came to the conclusion that he just needs to die.
Yeah.
But then the other doctor was almost I got like fanboy vibes a little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, definitely, yeah.
He's and it was almost like, and then when he like kills that cop, I was like, so he's just been like wanting to be him this whole time. Is that what's happening? But it seems more like he's obsessed with understanding the monster and figuring out what makes him tick. And he's willing to put anyone in harm's way just so he can understand more about him. So he's definitely a very different
Loomis.
He's a very different opposite of Loomis. 'Cause
Yeah.
Loomis wanted to save everybody. This guy's like, I want to understand him so badly. Just go get in there and die. Like,
Yeah. It's funny because like a lot of people supposedly don't like Dr. Sartain. That's his name.
yeah.
A lot of people think like he was a horrible, like that was a horrible like twist that the movie had, or a horrible like plot point. Which like
I mean, it was unnecessary, but it was entertaining.
yeah, it was
Right?
exactly. I feel the exact same way. Like I wasn't offended by it. Like a lot of people seem to be offended by it. I'm like, okay, yeah, it wasn't the best, but it wasn't horrible. Like I didn't care. Like I thought it was entertaining. Like you said, like
Yeah.
it was for me. It was an extra Michael Myers kill. Like it was an extra person for Myers to kill, and like whatever. So yeah, I didn't think it was horrible. How did you feel about that guy?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of Dr. Loomis, especially when he Loomis tries to kill him, and then he's burnt, and now he's forever has the burnt hand, and half his face is burnt.
Yeah.
I loved that. He gave a cool story, and at the end, he was like, "Man, fuck this guy. This guy's gonna kill," and he even says like, "Not even hell will take him," which was cool.
That
as
was
fuck.
my favorite
That was a
line.
dope
was
line.
Cool as
Yeah,
fuck.
That was
Loomis
in
always
5.
got the best lines.
Yeah.
Loomis was always getting
Loomis
the best
had
ones.
cool shit, so I was a little disappointed with this other guy. So when he got his head crushed, I was like, yeah, he's like, speak to me, because like you said, he was so fanboy.
Yeah.
I was like, man, dude, I ain't got time for this shit. Just
Yeah.
crushes his head.
Yeah, dude, that quote was from Halloween 5.
Yeah,
He's like, hell would not.
that was the best
hell would
part
not
of
have him.
Halloween
Yeah.
5.
Oh yeah.
That was a dope
sure.
quote for sure.
Yeah.
You're right about that. All right, moving into the top 2.
Oh,
Here it is.
Here it is. This is gonna define a generation. I'm just kidding. Yeah. Well, all right.
Just get it on, man.
We'll see what it is. No, I'm just kidding. Well, if it's not that controversial, Halloween H2O is my number 2.
Okay.
Because like I for a minute I thought about putting it as number 1, but I was like, I can't put it above the 1978. 1978 was like it changed the world. It literally like it changed the generation.
Right.
I'll get into more about 1978, but H2O I think is really good. And like I'd seen it a couple times before, and I rewatched it for this review, and I was like, you know what, this is a really good movie. Actually, the new trilogy made me appreciate H2O so much more.
Yeah.
I think
I would say Halloween Ends made me appreciate it more.
Yeah.
I mean, the new
think,
trilogy's
I think the whole trilogy as a whole, because this version of Laurie Strode is my absolute favorite.
Yeah.
She's a badass.
She's a
and
badass.
Jamie Lee Curtis's performance, I think, is the best as an actress. Like,
Yeah.
she performs really well. Like, as like waking up in the middle of the night, like screaming from like traumatic dreams that she has about Michael
Yeah.
Myers. She performed that really well. It was very believable. Josh Arnett's in it. He plays her son. He did a really good job. There's actually some like pretty well-known actors in it. And this was like their first role.
first role.
LL Cool
correct.
J's in it,
LL
right?
Cool J.
LL Cool
He
J.
did a good
Oh,
job.
yeah.
Like, not gonna lie, he did a
Yeah.
cool job. And then there's definitely some things that I didn't like about it. Like, obviously, I've already said like the mask. There's even a scene where there's like a CGI mask, and that's like so bad. Like they were so lazy, like they couldn't go back and reshoot that one scene. They had to CGI the mask, and it looks horrible.
That was the only thing that I didn't like about it was the mask. I agree, but everything else was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I didn't all the stuff you're putting out about Aloe Kuja, I didn't even.
Yeah, I thought it was crazy. I thought it was just cool. Like I thought it was funny.
Minor
details, and I was
minor
like,
details. I was like,
like it didn't bother me at all. I didn't particularly like Michael, the guy who played Michael Myers. I didn't like his performance really. Like to me, it didn't feel like Michael Myers. Like the way he moved didn't feel like Michael Myers. Also, him like descending down upon Laurie when he's like one-handed, like you know what I'm talking about? When they're on the balcony, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
And you didn't like that?
I didn't like Michael Myers doesn't do that. You know what I mean? Like,
well, apparently he does because he's done it a couple times now.
I saw it a couple times,
2 or 3. Yeah, because the first one was H2O, and then they did it again. Oh God, what was it? I think they did it again in the Rob Zombie film or Halloween 2018. One of those two.
What?
Yeah.
Well,
they did it a couple times.
You like that?
When he just like slowly comes down with one hand, I was like, damn.
I just thought that was. I just felt like that was very uncharacteristic.
Too.
Oh,
yeah, uncharacteristic.
I felt like
it was like they're trying to sexy up Michael Myers. It was just like throw some sexy music behind that scene, and you got a whole different movie. Yeah,
like obviously it wasn't enough for me to like hate the movie or like dock it points, but I just like, man, if only they'd made him look like the 2018 Michael Myers,
right?
This maybe could be number one.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like this is a really good movie, and honestly, I love the ending. I think it's super cool, badass how Laurie just cuts off Michael Myers' head.
Yeah, that was
and it's very like
so I would say that was like the best ending to the whole character arc with them.
Yeah, for sure.
Or
that
story,
was a good way to go.
Mm-hmm. Not Halloween Ends way, which is so bad.
Yeah, this movie's so much better than Halloween Ends. It's crazy. Also, like this movie kind of gets some flack for being written by the Scream writer or like having the same like people who made Scream make this one. Yeah, but I think it actually benefits from that. I like it actually, and I don't mind the Scream likeness to it. I can see that it was made by the same person. There's similarities,
right? The suspenseful moments, but that's what I liked about it. I liked the suspense. And, the famous when they're running from it and then they drop the keys and then they're trying to find the keys.
It's very Scream-like.
They're like, yo, hurry up, open up the door, and then even Michael picks up the keys and he's struggling with the keys, and it's like I thought that was pretty.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
It was cool as fuck, for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. But that ending I think is dope. Cutting off Michael's head and then Resurrection went and screwed it all up. But I don't even consider that. That's not my canon. You know?
Right.
Honestly, if you watch 1978, 1981, and then H2O, all like as a trilogy, that's a pretty damn good trilogy.
That is a good trilogy. I would put the same thing also. I would put
that's
that
my
together
ideal
as well.
trilogy.
That'd be the ideal trilogy. I agree with that.
Because the ending is like definitive, until they mess it up. But
right.
Yeah. Like it's pretty cool. Like she cuts off his head, and then like they roll the credits. They start playing the music.
Yeah,
that's it. Jamie Lee Curtis is a badass.
So the whole sister thing it doesn't matter to you?
It doesn't really bother me so much. I mean, like I'm like I guess maybe because I grew up already knowing. I feel like I've known that they were related since the movies came out. Again, I didn't necessarily see them early on, but I like knew like okay, yeah, they're related or whatever, and like that's the whole motive. It doesn't bother me. I'm like either way, like. Whether they're related or not related, I still think I'm still going to be a fan. I'll just say, like, one more thing about H2O, and I already touched on it, but, like, I really like how, like, Jamie Lee Curtis, how she played this role, I think, like, it was her best performance in the franchise, but also, like, I think, like, what I like about this is, like, she's still, I think it's the perfect balance of, like, trauma victim, but also, like, an overcomer of, like, that trauma.
Yeah.
Like she's definitely still traumatized. She's actually like an overprotective parent, and you see that with the relationship with her and her son in the movie.
Yeah.
Like she's overprotective.
Which becomes a recurring theme apparently.
Yeah, exactly. But I felt like in H40 was so over the top, and like here it's like believable. It's believable. Like it's realistic in my opinion. And then like I really love how like they have the chance to get away. Her son and her son's girlfriend, they're about to drive away, and Michael's like left behind, and then she's like, "No, you guys go. I'm gonna stay behind and kick some ass." I love that. I was like, "Woo, let's go!" Like, that was like a dope scene. And I feel like the new trilogy doesn't do anything like that for me. Like for Laurie, like I know she's pretty badass in H40, Halloween 2018. She's pretty badass and like she's a survivor and she has like all these traps set, and shoots guns. But I don't know. It just didn't feel the same as H2O. I think they executed it way better in that movie, and that's why it's my number 2. And that leads me to my next.
Number one.
Number one choice is Halloween 1978. I know I just said it, but there's really no other choice I could have gone with because it's the one that started it all. It was the one that created the shape. It set the standard. It really set the bar for everything, you know. So even though there's movies that are in the franchise that could be considered technically better, shot and maybe better script, dialogue, and stuff like that, better graphics, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't necessarily mean it's like more. I don't know. There's just like it's subjective, right? Everyone's different definition. Like I feel like 2018 was maybe it was like more the dialogue was maybe more realistic and better. Could be in a sense, or even from like a camera perspective, cinematography. But I feel like 1978 was it's a classic, you know, just like the $300,000 budget that John Carpenter used. And like, that's like, even in 1978 standards, that's like nothing to make a movie. Like that wasn't a lot of money at all. So, and it's still, or it was until recently, the highest grossing or the most profitable indie film of all time. Cause it like, you only had $300,000 and he turned that, made this movie, and this movie went on to sell make him $100 million worldwide. And that's accounting for inflation. So $300,000, and then you take that and make $100 million with that. That's insane profit. That's like insane amount of money. So he must have done something right. You know what I mean? I think there's iconic moments like the sheet ghost moment that I love.
The score is just amazing.
Oh yeah,
the soundtrack
Yeah, just everything about that. It's just a completely nostalgic movie. It's just like watching A Christmas Story on Christmas or Home Alone. He captured the whole essence of Halloween in that movie. That's just a movie you have to watch on Halloween. It's just there's no way around it. Just watching it, you see the Halloween mask, the kids dressing up, the eeriness, the all your typical things with the babysitter, you know, and the teens having sex and then, you know, getting killed. The phone calls, like everything you could think of in a horror movie or the what ifs that could happen are captured in this. And it's I think it's executed very well.
Sure. I agree. Where does it rank on your list?
That's number one for me as well, for sure. Yeah, number one.
That's number one for me too.
It's most people's number one.
Obviously, I already told you it's in the middle of my list.
Oh, top five?
Yeah, because I approached this as just a movie lover from, you know, I'm totally unbiased.
Right.
I didn't watch this as a kid. I didn't grow up with it, and I kind of just like, you know, a spectrum of different genres. So I'm totally looking at this as just like, you know, how well was about the storyline or what was exciting about it or what have you. You know, to me, the first two were kind of slow. And of course, being as old as they are, there's little cheesy things here and there, like the way they die in the first one. There's there's the deaths are kind of funny, and like honestly, the very first death, Judith Myers, like that just looks so fake.
Dude, that was Darius.
That was a terrible death.
He's just like he's like stabbing her, but he's like looking at the knife, not even looking at where he's stabbing.
Yeah,
the POV
you know
shot.
I mean?
Yeah,
it's like no one does that.
Yeah, not only that, but like her reaction, just so we're like
Michael. And then like when the parents find him, he's just standing there, and they're just standing there too. Like Michael.
That was the weird part. Like you can see there's blood on this knife, and you're like, oh my god, Michael. Instead, you're just standing there like Michael.
I don't know if that was like meant to be like just
how
like a
could
picture
you know better than that
shot or something.
Michael, you naughty boy.
Naughty
like
boy.
Okay, so that actually, I'm glad you said that because like it leads me to my next point. I was gonna say that I like to call Halloween 1978 an overrated masterpiece because it is a masterpiece in the sense that you had such a low budget and you made such an amazing film that went on to influence a lot of cinema as a whole. It influenced, you know, so many generations of filmmakers. It influenced countless other movies, right?
Yeah.
So it's a masterpiece in that sense. But it's also, I do believe it is overrated. I feel like a lot of people hold it up to the standard of like infallible horror movie, like greatest horror movie of all time. It's infallible, like it's a perfect movie, but it's like far from perfect. Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
For a lot of the reasons you just said, like a lot of the dialogue is really corny and dated.
Right. Yeah.
Some of the death scenes are like not believable.
Yeah.
You know, like they're like, all right, like, okay.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, for me, that adds to the appeal because it's like, I like campy things, like for the most part. Like there's a lot of '80s cheesy shit that I like watching because it's just like whatever. Like I know what I'm getting myself into, so I still like it. But I definitely see that like Halloween 1978 is overrated by a lot of people who grew up with it, so they have that nostalgia for it.
Yeah.
So to them, it's like the end all be all Halloween film. Nothing could ever come close to beating it. I don't think that it's like. I think someone could maybe beat it one day, if they like actually like. I don't know. There's just things that like I think H2O is really good. I think H2O could have potentially beat it. With some few adjustments and changes, you know, maybe.
Was it Halloween better than H2O or any other one? It's because he doesn't have a motive. And H2O, he's going after Lori because it's his sister.
You're right.
This one, it's just a guy that's going around killing people for no reason.
What's going on? What's happening?
Yeah, and I do like how it's like shot and it's dark where you can like hardly see Michael Myers' face. I think that's just like gives even more mystery and it just makes it even scarier.
Yeah, for sure. Less is more. I agree completely with that aspect. Sometimes it's better not to see the mystery. You know, let your mind go wild and stuff. And, and your mind will take you somewhere way darker than whatever you visually
leaving
see.
it open to leaving it to your imagination to draw the conclusion or imagine it. Some I can't think of any particular one off the top of my head, but I've heard people talk about how some films or even some like video games and stuff will make it so that the villain or the monster or whatever it is in the film is, like you said, like a mystery. So for that specific reason, to let you create the horror yourself in your mind instead of just giving it to you all up front. That's for some people, not knowing what it is scarier than seeing it right in front of you. You know what I mean? You have to have this very dark, menacing music to accompany, you know, what's going on, because in between the actual kills, it's like just a lot of chasing, running around. But that music like keeps you in that sense of suspense, that edge of your seat kind of like, oh shit, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Is she going to make it? Is she not? Which usually more often they don't. But yeah.
And that has to be the most memorable song in history. I mean, you hear that right away, you know, your mind goes straight to Michael Myers. You think like, oh shit, you know, Halloween. So that score also just brings nostalgia also. You hear that and you automatically think Halloween, which I think is badass. I don't think any other, at least off the top of my head, I can't think of any Halloween movie that I hear the music and I'll think, oh shit, you know, this brings back memories or this reminds me of certain characters or whatever.
But just to recap, number one, so I have Halloween 1978 as my number one, Angel.
Number one is Halloween 1978.
78, and Judah?
Same thing, Halloween 1978.
Everyone, apparently people are hating me right now because I put H2O up there, but I don't know.
Dare to be different, right?
I mean, it's a risk to try and be different, I'll tell you that right now.
But also, I like that... I like that you had never seen them before.
Yeah.
And that you're giving me your honest opinion. Because you could easily have just been like, 1978. You could easily
because
like
I was originally, and I was going to say this earlier, that I was originally thinking to myself that I was going to put the first one and probably also number two higher up in the list because of everything you said. Everything, because I mean, again, as a fan of movies, I see it from the same perspective you are, of everything it did for the genre, for film in general, all the bars that it set, everything it started, and so I figured simply out of respect I would put it up higher. But I was like, I think I'll go with what I actually enjoyed.
Yeah,
more,
what you enjoyed.
You know?
Yeah.
But so I mean, it's not lost on me. Everything that film did for horror and for film in general is not lost on me. I still respect it. It's still a good film.
Well, yeah.
You know? And especially for what it is at the time, like, you know, and I may, you know, talk shit about the deaths and maybe some of the special effects, but again, I'm aware it was 1978 and he had $300,000 fucking dollars.
Yeah.
It's like, I get it. I understand why it looks like that.
Yeah.
You know,
for sure. No, I definitely, I agree. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in to Devil's Hour, a podcast for the strange and unusual. Stay strange. Life is short, so drive fast and leave a sexy corpse.